All right, welcome in everybody to the 2024 Strictly Business Fantasy Football Podcast. I am Biz. I am your host. As always, I'm joined by Big Burley, also known as E4K, and Business Ethics, the Triple D, Diamond down the middle, Denver Dave.
What up?
How we doing, fellas?
Awesome, man. What's going on with you?
Just living the dream. I was just telling Dave before we went live that my dad flew in yesterday. So he's going to be hanging out for about 2 weeks. It's his birthday on the 17th. So, he's just enjoying this beautiful weather, getting away from Connecticut for a little bit, coming to hang out with me, my sister, my wife, our 2 dogs. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time. Dave, how you feeling, man?
Feeling pretty nice.
Yeah, I see you're rocking the Avs jersey.
Opening night.
Who are they playing tonight?
Las Vegas in Vegas.
Ooh, okay. It's a tough place to play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. John, you want to explain the E4K to us?
Crazy crowd.
Have you ever found like a cause that you were super passionate about?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I found one too. Eyebrows for Kamala. All my bushy eyebrow brothers, we're going to unite and we're going to help vote Kamala into office. Eyebrows for Kamala.
All right, E4K. I like it. Well, we talk about this every year, but the season's flying by. We just get into a routine where we record this podcast usually on Wednesdays, sometimes on Thursdays, but the weeks fly by. Not to mention all the other things we got going on in life. But you got games finishing the week on Monday, roll right into the podcast recording, Thursday night football. Then you got Saturday with college games, and then Sunday. And I know you guys are really busy these days with card shows on the weekends. Any card shows this weekend, or are you going to be watching football?
I get to watch football watch
Saturday.
Football.
Saturday, I'm in the Springs.
But
Yeah.
Football, we're safe this week.
Okay. Right on.
If the regular show promoter would get his head out of his ass and realize that nobody wants to be at a show while there's football going on.
Yeah. No shit. I mean, that's the commitment and the sacrifice you guys make for the business, right?
No, for sure. And legit, it was busy as shit on Sunday. So
well, that's good. Broncos play home this weekend, don't they?
Yeah. Chargers.
Yeah. Okay. That's a big game. And I know the Buffs play home against Kansas State, which is a huge game. That game starts late on Saturday. For the East Coast folks, that's a 10-15 start, I think.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a late one. But with that being said, just quick off the top of your head, week 5, both NFL and fantasy related. What do you guys see as some of the, I don't want to say surprises, but things that maybe raise your eyebrows, E4K? See what I did there?
I did. I like that. The eyebrows.
Yeah. Boom.
I was shocked with Cincinnati finally busting out, man. Like real breakout. You'd seen little flashes here and there, but look at Carl's squad. He had the fucking triple stack with Burrow, T, and Chase, and I mean, no chance this week for Phil.
Yeah, when you got the double stack and you put up over 200 points, it's tough to go up against that. And I know
that stack had to have put up like 120, right?
We can look at it. I know it was well over 100, just between 3 players. Carl's got a really good team. He still has Cooper Kupp, who's rehabbing his high ankle sprain. He should be back maybe week 7 next week. Still kind of up in the air. It's iffy, but when Cooper Kupp comes back, he's also got Godwin along with his double stack of Cincinnati receivers. He's got a formidable team. You got to watch out for Carl's team for sure. Jamar Gibbs coming off the bye. He's his number 1 back. I mean, he's a stud. He's electric. He's a lot of fun to have on your fantasy squad. Dave, I mean, what do you see as some of the like week 5 headlines, both fantasy and NFL?
Boy, I was thinking of Cincinnati too. Just wow, Jamar just looks great. Jamar just looks like he could take any pass and he could turn it into 80-yard gain at any time.
Yeah, he's
Um,
special.
He looks great. I think, okay, how about the tight end play across the league? It's kind of down straight across everywhere. And
Kinda.
it's really down this year. And it's just like pick your guy and you hope he hits,
Hey,
It's like,
Kelsey's back. Kelsey's back.
Kelsey's definitely back. I agree. But
They got no one else. Why not? Let's throw it to Juju and Kelsey. Makes sense.
Rebirth of Juju 2017.
Talking about Kansas City, I think that's one thing that surprises me just in regard to the NFL. You lose Pacheco, you lose Hollywood, now you lose Rashee Rice, and their offense isn't as explosive, obviously, when you lose 3 legitimate stars, but they're still doing just enough to win games. And on the flip side of who they played, New Orleans started off hot. They were the talk of the town, 2-0. Remember, they went into Dallas, right? And they blew the rails off of Dallas.
Yeah.
Now they've lost 3 straight. And on top of that, Derek Carr looks like he's going to be out a couple weeks. That significantly hurts all of their position players from a fantasy perspective. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
I don't know. Hayner didn't look horrible when he went in. I mean, I from what I hear, though, it might be Spencer Rattler, but
That's what I heard too.
Hayner didn't look horrible. I mean, it's not like Carr's that good, so I don't know how much it hurts their assets.
Watching that game, I was a little surprised. They just kept trying to force feed Kamara the ball on first down, and they just weren't. They were ending up in 2nd and long, 3rd and long, and I don't know. I didn't see the same creativity that we saw in the first couple of weeks. I mean, Shaheed is a playmaker, downfield, one big play, and he makes your fantasy day. But what is up with Chris Olave? Just is he not? I mean,
he's a number 2 doing number 2 things. What's funny about that?
Well, no. I think it's funny in the way you said that. In my opinion, he's not a number 2, but he's playing like it. Numbers don't lie.
I mean, numbers don't lie. Look at the targets that
Shaheed has
getting. Like we're not talking. He's been out targeting him in the last couple of weeks. I mean,
yeah.
I really think a tide has turned down there. Like it was a little bit of a joke at first, but it's like one of those jokes that's coming true.
Yeah, I look at it now more. I mean, to your credit, Shaheed, I agree. You got to put respect on his name. I mean, he keeps producing. He had that one goose egg where he had a couple drops, but other than that, he's been extremely consistent.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's been like the high teens every fucking game except for the 1-0, which even that 0, he hit. Carr tried to hit him on 2 bombs.
Yeah, and again, 140-yard play in our league, a half point per reception league, that's right there. That's 6 for the touchdown, 4 for the yardage, and then a half point. That's a 10.5 point play on one play. So again, starting him as your wide receiver 3, starting him as a flex, that 10.5 point play, that's in your pocket every week as a strong possibility. I mean, 3 out of the 5 games, 4 out of the 5 games they've hit. Now Carr going down, and Spencer Rattler, who knows? He could be a little bit more of a gunslinger too, but we'll see what happens. I'm a little worried about Kamara. Just his yards per carry. He's a little older. The high usage. Seemed like towards the end of the game, he was they were trying to dump it down to him, and there was one pass that it was a little behind, but hit him on the hip, and he kind of just knocked it to the ground. Kind of like, I don't want to be here. Granted, they're down, they're on the road, but there's some cause for concern in New Orleans. There's no question about that. What about the Bills? the Bills look great for 2 weeks. And I remember RJ's text, Super Bowl September Bills. And he was absolutely right. Now, granted, they didn't have Khalil Shakir this week. Maybe that would have helped. But 9 for 30 passing attempts.
Wow.
Out of Josh Allen. And that is not going to get it done. They need help on the outside. Where's Dalton Kincaid? I know Dave just bounced on us. But nonetheless, the Bills also, they seem to be on the struggle bus, huh, John?
Yeah, a little bit, man. The calendar turned to October, so no more Super Bowl Josh Allen, right? Is that what we're going for here?
Yeah.
I mean, as a Kincaid owner, I fucking hate it. I'm really glad I got out of the Shakir business as well. I didn't imagine them being this stuttery after the first few games.
Shakir's been solid for what you expect. Wide receiver 3, flex play. Get 8 to 12 points on a consistent basis. He seems to be always open when Allen goes to throw to him. And he was out this past week due to that ankle injury. He should be back this week for their Monday night game against the Jets, which leads me to my next thought is the coaching change in New York. Thoughts on how that might spark some of these fantasy players, or is there going to be any change?
No change, man. The fucking Jets are like the Browns, and they just suck, man. Whatever they do, they're gonna suck.
I don't know.
I feel bad for fucking Saleh, man. He didn't.
Yeah, I think it's
choose Aaron Rodgers. He didn't want Jeff Hackett, and then he goes in to basically be like, "Hey, man, this guy isn't doing his job. It ain't working." And they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, this is security. See you out, buddy."
Yeah,
we'll meet you at the organization. They're no better than the fucking Bears, and it's going to be a shit product on the field the whole time.
Well, you saw some of those interceptions that Rodgers threw. They were bad. The one at the end of the game, I mean, that ball was underthrown by at least 5 yards. You got Mike Williams, who's one of the best, best receivers going up for the ball, to the point of the catch and making the catch, and you throw it into the ground 5 yards short. Throw it out the back, corner of the end zone, throw it to the pylon, let him go up and make a play. Instead, he throws that ball probably even 10, 15 yards short. Then the interception in the first quarter where he just missed a wide open receiver by 15 yards, and Minnesota picked it. He did not look good. He had a couple balls batted down at the line of scrimmage. And your quarterback has played 2 of the worst games of his entire 20-year career, and the coach gets fired?
Dude, that's crazy, man. I don't know. There was obviously issues between them, but it's Woody Johnson that owns them, right? That dude just clearly took fucking Rodgers' side on this whole thing. And, I think he's an old white dude, probably a little bit racist. So he's like, let's go get an old white coach back here. I don't think Saleh is going to have a problem finding a job anywhere. That defense was on point the entire time he was there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I agree. I think he's going to easily find a job as a defensive coordinator. I don't know what happened to Dave. I was going to bring up the Broncos, but I'll slide real quick into my Giants. Not having Devin Singletary, not having Malik Neighbors, we go on the road and get a huge win at Seattle. We had that game pretty much locked up. We were up 10 points in the fourth quarter. We allowed Seattle to drive down, score a touchdown, and then we gave the ball back. They come down, have a field goal chance at the end, and we blocked the field goal, running back for a touchdown. I mean, that was a very, very crazy game. The Giants have had a couple games where, let's not forget, week 2, we're playing Washington. Malik Neighbors drops a 4th down conversion. That would have sealed the game. We would have been kneeling down after that. And instead, Washington comes down and kicks a game-winning field goal. There's a good chance we could be 3-2. Now, That's me, biased Giants fan talking out my ass. But Daniel Jones played well again without two of our top playmakers. Malik Neighbors should be back this week. Singletary still questionable. Is there any insight as to like Daniel Jones or Tyron Tracy, the rookie running back who had a monster day?
Daniel Jones fucking blows. Get him out of your lineup. Take him off your roster. Do yourself a favor. Otherwise you're going to hate your fantasy team and your roster next week.
They play at home against Cincinnati, Sunday Night Football. It's not a bad streaming option. That's why I picked them up.
I mean, that's not bad. I mean, did he wake up and accidentally become Joe Burrow or something? I wouldn't. It's still Daniel Jones, bro.
No, of course not. Of course not. Within expectations, but you understand my quarterback situation right now. I have AR. I have Flacco. I have Andy Dalton. I have 4 quarterbacks, which means I don't have a quarterback, right? So I'm looking for a positive stream option, and I'm the Malik Neighbors owner. Why not get that connect on Sunday Night Football?
Just out of curiosity, I didn't look at any of the waiver shit this morning. Did you throw in on Cousins?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did. But I don't know. I look at that as maybe I haven't made my decision yet, but I look at that as a positive opportunity for, 20 points. I mean, I'm not asking for 30, 40 points out of Daniel Jones, but
I mean, if you can get by with 15, I think I could deal with that. But I don't know, man.
But you look at the quarterbacks facing Cincinnati this season. Granted, let's take it in context. Daniel Jones is not anywhere close to Lamar Jackson. But Lamar just went off for 40 points. You've been able to move the ball. You had Jaden Daniels the week before. Jaden Daniels blew up as well. My internet is having issues. I had to restart my computer. I'll log back in. Okay, no problem, Dave. And then the last big piece of news before we get Dave back, you being the Patriots fan in our league, how do you feel about the Patriots going with Drake May as the starting quarterback this week and probably for the rest of the season?
I wouldn't say for the rest of the season. You know why I love this news?
Why?
Because we're one step closer to Joe Milton, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, he's your backup.
I wasn't happy with drafting Drake May, so I don't have high hopes at all. But I did like what Milton showed in the preseason, so wouldn't hurt my feelings if we get him up in there for a little trial to see what's going down, huh?
Yeah, why not? I mean, you guys took a flyer on him, what, not this year, last year? Or was it this year, actually?
It was this year.
This year. Yeah, and he's a supreme athlete, and he's got an absolute cannon. He's kind of like an Anthony Richardson in a way, but coming from a more prolific pass-friendly passing offense at Tennessee.
Sure.
I actually loved that pick, and I was a little pissed that the Giants didn't take a swing on a guy like Joe Milton.
Hey, I understand, and like I said, I mean, I love the Drake May news because it gets us one step closer to Milton. Obviously, Jacoby's just cheeks.
Who do you guys play this week? Houston?
Yeah, Houston
at home.
Don't remember. Let me see.
You can move the ball on Houston's defense. They did have one big week where they blitzed the shit out of the Chicago Bears, and I think they ended up with like 7 sacks.
Yeah, they're at home.
Yeah. So that would be an early start. Houston coming all the way to the East Coast. Hold on. Let's see. Boom. There he is. All right, Dave, welcome back. So before we get into the week 5, or excuse me. Yeah, it's week 5, right? I got to hide this. Right. And I got to change this. This is week 5.
6, bitch. Week 6.
Week 5.
Yeah.
So, how are you feeling about the Broncos?
They looked okay versus the bad Raiders. We'll see about versus these other better teams. I think the Chargers are slightly better than the Raiders. I'm excited. There's a lot to be excited about. Bo Nix probably had his best game of the season on Sunday. PS2 is playing like defensive player of the year. So we'll see what happens here. I mean,
Surtain is locked down, man. He's great.
Oh, he's amazing, man. That 100-yard pick six was incredible, dude. Just so incredible.
Yeah,
I had red zone
was
on.
That more Surtain? Was that more Surtain, or is that just Gardner being Minshew?
Gardner being Gardner
Minshew.
instead of a quarterback.
Yeah.
A combination of both.
Yeah.
But as PS2, just knowing we're, being at the right place, but also kind of picking the play.
We've talked about it on the show. That Broncos D is for real, and that's because you have a lockdown corner.
We can rush the quarterback too. We blitz more than any other team in the NFL because of our secondary.
Who's your defensive coordinator?
Vance Joseph.
Okay.
Former head coach who didn't know where to stand on the sideline to coach the games.
But he reminds me kind of like a Robert Saleh. He's just better off as a defensive coordinator, not as a head coach.
Same thing with
likable guy. Always sticks up for his players. Never blames any of the players for performances.
Good head coach too, though.
Flores got screwed out of Miami, dude. Let's not be silly. Now he's got that Minnesota defense. They're the number 1 ranked fantasy defense in the league. So, all right, guys. Well, let's get into that is. I mean, that's another thing. You got the 2 5-0 teams, Kansas City Chiefs, which we touched on. Spagnuolo is just ridiculous. How he just takes your best weapons out of the game, and I think that's what they did on Monday night, taking Olave out of the game and Kamara, doing enough on offense. But the other 5-0 team going into a bye is Minnesota, which no one saw Minnesota being 5-0 at this point. Sam Darnold is clearly in the MVP conversation after 5 weeks. It pains me to say that, but what's crazy is he's only 27 years old, Sam Darnold. He's not going to be 28. No, he's not going to be 28. Dude, he's the same age as my wife. He was born June 5th, exactly 1 month before my wife in 1997. I looked this up. He's 27. He's not going to be 28 until June 5th, meaning after this season. It seems like he's been around forever because he was the number 1 pick for the Jets.
He was young when he got drafted.
He was only 20. He was only 20. He was 20.
More to my point, Darnold, fucking Jets and Panthers. Where the fuck was he going to get a decent shake?
Yeah.
He goes to San Francisco and is a solid backup for the year. Gets his shot now on a fucking stable team for the first time in his career, and look what he's able to do.
And McConnell is an offensive genius. Let's not overlook that. What he was able to do last year when Kirk Cousins was down, he's a genius. And he's unafraid to throw the ball. I mean, shit. Reference that 97-yard touchdown.
Too. Jay Jetta was on the other side of them things.
And Hawkinson's coming back soon. Like, they've got weapons. So, all right. That being said, let's get into our week 5. Man, week 5. This is crazy. Here it is. Week 5 recap. I'm going to start with my matchup because going into this game, I was telling you guys I was a little nervous about it. Obviously, Malik Neighbors didn't play. Nicky's team was due. He was 0-4 coming into this matchup. Did I see Nick's team put up 194 points? Absolutely not. But everything started on Thursday night. We're right here. Drake London had a career-high game, 12 catches on 13 targets, 154 yards and a touchdown.
And
32
that could have even been bigger, too, because he was out of the game on the game-winning touchdown. And I don't remember what the guy's name that caught. You remember the name of the guy that caught that touchdown, Dave?
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but you're right. He came in
and ran Drake London's route.
Yeah, that guy had a couple catches when London went out throughout the game because London almost got knocked out. Looked like he was being evaluated for a concussion, came back in the game, and just kept churning out catch after catch. What was crazy about this game, it feels like forever ago, but it was Thursday night last week. They came out throwing, and they did not stop throwing. Is there any concern about Bijan Robinson not getting off to a great start through 5 weeks?
I mean, there's a reason I try
A
to
little bit if you're the owner. Yeah.
So
We
just
just
to
don't
go
know if
through-
there's going to be consistency there. We don't know how much they're going to run the ball. You got
So-
Algier back there too.
Yeah, Algier's been he looks good. He comes in and he produces.
He's always looked good, man.
I mean, they're talking about it on the broadcast and how Bijan is not the best outside zone runner. And he's still learning this new scheme. And we'll see. Maybe in this, we are 35% of the way through the year after 5 weeks.
Regular season,
Fantasy.
right?
Fantasy regular season. There's 14 weeks in our regular season. We are now through 5 weeks. That means we're 35% of the way through the season, regular season. I was forced to start Joe Flacco. He had a huge game. Trevor Lawrence looked great. They went head to head in that matchup. My running backs underperformed. What was crazy is Kenneth Walker only had 5 carries in this game against the Giants. And this was a close game. It's not like it was a blowout. It was just surprising, the low utilization. Even Charbonnet only got 2 carries. So 7 carries from the running backs. I think Geno tucked and ran it 4 times, but those were 4 pass plays that broke down. Then none of them were designed runs for Geno. 5 carries. I mean, he made up his production towards the end of the game. 7 catches, 57 yards. I'm not worried about it. Moving down the line here, all three of my wide receivers didn't get in the end zone, and that's the biggest difference in fantasy. Marvin Harrison had a dud week. Brian Thomas Jr., bro, he's a legit stud. 5 for 122.
He's a top 20 guy rest of the season.
Yeah, which I consider a stud. Nicky picked up Tucker Kraft. This motherfucker had 2 touchdowns. Just absolutely destroyed me. And then Kareem Hunt. I mean, everything went right for Nick. Everything went right. There was a bomb pass play to Alec Pierce from Flacco, where Pierce, as he caught the ball, was falling to the ground on the 1-yard line, and his momentum carried him into the end zone. They reviewed it, and they're like, oh, yeah, this guy's defender's foot just touched his leg on the half-yard line as he was going in. I'm like, dude, how can you determine that? There was no clear-cut evidence. They called it a touchdown on the field. Bring it back, put the ball on the half-yard line. Sermon walks in for the touchdown, 12-point swing. 12-point swing. I mean, everything was going in Nicky's favor this week. It was a disaster. I mean, San Francisco, they had a blocked kick return for a fucking touchdown. Otherwise, they would have only had 3 points, 4 points. Everything went right for Nicky in this game. He and I were texting throughout, of course. Congratulations, Nick. You get your first win of the year, which prompted him to change his fucking team name, which you're not supposed to do, to turning a new leaf.
What is up with all this team name change shit?
Dude, I can't keep it straight.
Well,
Yeah, he changed the icon photo too.
First game of the season, and we weren't allowed to change them.
We're not supposed to change them, but I don't have the authority to block or lock team names like I did with the NFL.
Oh, shit. I'm changing my team name every week.
Oh, fuck you guys. You're not supposed to.
There's a
Anyways,
John photo on there too.
This is like my Nicky IR, dude. I got to have something to take a stand on, Biz, and this is it.
2 things. Fuck you guys. 2 things to note about this matchup. I'm proud of how my team performed. There was no way I expected to score 146 points. I fall to 3-2. However, as we'll see here in the recap, every other team in my division also lost. So I still keep that 1-game edge. I kind of look at this as a wash this week when I had so many guys go down. Rashee Rice just was designated out for the rest of the season after having surgery yesterday, so I had to drop him. We'll go into transactions about that. Malik Neighbors was out. Khalil Shakir was designated as out on Friday, so I moved him to get Christian Kirk. I mean, my team's been decimated by injuries. Evan Ingram, who I picked up 2 fucking weeks ago, is still nursing a hamstring that he hurt in pregame in week 2. Hopefully he'll come back this week. it's, CMC still in the IR. It's been a mess. And for my team to be 3-2, one game up in the division, I'll fucking take it. Moving on. John, here's your game. Congratulations, 144.38. You move up to 4-1. You beat what used to be Searchlight Publishing, 109.92. You want to take us through this matchup, John?
Yeah, I've just had
Nico Collins on IR.
Yeah, I saw that. We're gonna touch on that. Go ahead.
Nico on IR.
Nico's been placed on IR.
Dude, I almost sent a solid ass trade offer for him. God dang. All right. Well, so my entire season so far has boiled down to one thing. So far, I have had Nicky's schedule from last year.
Oh yeah.
And the difference is I'm gonna just humbly say I'm grateful for the schedule. I'm not gonna be like, oh, look how good at fantasy football this guy is. You
realize your team scored like one more point this week than last week. You were like 143.37 last week.
Yo, my shit's consistent, bro.
I mean, you've been fortunate. You got the Nicky schedule for sure, but you've been doing enough to win. That's what matters.
And it's not just that I've been doing enough to win. I've been putting up 140 something. Like Nicky kept winning last year, like 112 to 98. Yeah. I'm putting up at least respectable-ish points for our league this year. I'm in the middle of the pack points scored.
And probably your best player hasn't been playing like it.
Yeah, CD, man. I should have gone with my heart over my head. Everything pointed to CD being the motherfucker this year. Everything. And, y'all know I even tried before the draft to take this decision off my plate by, I moved up to 2, but I would have really liked to have been in like the 4 range, because that would have made my Jetta decision 100%.
When did you make
Jetta
that
was
trade?
under CD.
When did you make that trade with Norm? It was early.
July.
Yeah.
July. It was July because Carl's like, oh, Norm's making trades in July. He's locked in. Yeah, locked in on fucking Drake London and DJ Moore. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, yeah, CD and CD hasn't been performing like I expect. Now, they have a bye next week. Maybe I get lucky and they go on the same torrent path that they went on last year after the bye. And, but the rest of the team is holding up around it.
Mm-hmm.
So even Dak, Dak's not shitting the bed every week. I think he had one struggling week for me. So
in 23, 25 points a week, you're not complaining about that out of your quarterback. Not this year.
Right. No,
because we haven't seen. I mean, fuck, Joe Flacco scoring points. I mean, other than the Cincinnati-Baltimore game, it's been a weird season where quarterbacks just really haven't been blowing up. And this is really a quarterback-heavy league. We talk about it every year where you need one of those top 5 quarterbacks to win the championship. This year, after 5 weeks, maybe things are changing. I don't know. Then again, things could fall back in line, as you said, as teams go into their bye and they start to figure shit out, start getting their playmakers the ball like CD Lamb. I mean, in this game, he had 9 targets. Okay. 5 receptions for 62 yards. That's a very pedestrian day. I know he had that 1 target in the end zone and they started bickering at each other. At least CD was barking at him, Dak on the sideline. Which is good to see.
Yeah, no, I love that. It means they're invested. They care. You know what I'm saying? And I do like seeing that.
Yeah. I mean, fortunately, anytime you play a team and this team flops like Rich has now lost 3 in a row. 109 points. You should win. And you
Rich did have Saquon on a bye.
Correct.
And Lad McConkey on a bye. So, I did catch him a little bit with the pants down.
Sure. I'm playing
Rich on a bye last week for the Chargers and JK.
I'm playing Rich this week coming up, and
that's a bye shit again this week.
Jetta's on a bye. Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll take it. White boy Rick moves up to 3-2, 149.14, knocking Stroud buckets back down to earth. Norm had 1-2 in a row. Now he's 2-3 with the loss, 120.54. Josh Allen, we talked about it, 9 out of 30. 131 yards, 4 carries, 54 yards. Plus, it looked like he got knocked the fuck out in this game. Went to the sideline for one play. Trubisky comes in and then comes back. And then they're saying it was a chest injury. Motherfucker, you were seeing stars. You were out. You were knocked out.
Have you seen the thing where the trainers are giving him smelling salts?
Yeah, for a chest injury.
Yeah.
Chest injury. Okay, sure. For Norm, Stroud had a good game. He would have had an even better game. Like we were just talking about, Dave mentioned Nico Collins just got put on the IR. He had that deep touchdown in the first quarter. It looked like Nico was well on his way to having a monster day. Stroud as well. And he did pull up a little bit. You could tell it was that right hamstring and did not return. So he finished with 2 for 78 and a touch. Now he's just been placed on the IR. So definitely hurting Norm's chances. Wow. Garrett Wilson finally showed up, 22 targets to get 13 catches and 101 yards and a touchdown. Oh, man. I'm happy for Garrett Wilson. I'm happy for Rick because he just did that deal, Garrett Wilson, for Devonta Smith before this week. But I don't expect this every week. 22 fucking targets. That's insanity.
What would you expect Jay Jetta's line to be if he had 22 targets?
Ooh. Well, this week he had 14. He had 14 targets, Jetta. So 22, I would say 14 catches for like 203 and 2. That'd be his floor with 22 targets.
22 targets? Like,
it's insane, bro. It's
insane. I don't know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers, bro, but he's fucking cooked.
Yeah. Brock Bowers looks like, you talk about tight ends being down. He looks like clear-cut number 1 tight end this year. Just very consistent. They've got limited pass catching options with Devontae Adams trade imminent, and we don't know where he's going to land, but we know he's not going to be in Vegas anymore. Kickers are kickers. Giants defense.
You think Devontae gets traded to the Jets?
I would hope not. It's a strong possibility, but I would hope not.
I would think he's going to end at this point. I would think he's going to end up a Steeler. The fucking with the car injury now and the fucking Jets being the Jets. Like, if you want a chance to win, why wouldn't you go to Pittsburgh?
Yeah. Like you said, with the car injury, it could not have happened at a worse time for the Saints because they were in the mix for Adams. The Jets just look like, I don't know, a shit show.
Like, if I was Devontae, I wouldn't want to go to either of those situations.
Yeah. Or what about Baltimore?
The Chiefs would be the best fit.
Baltimore is interesting, but I mean, all I think Devontae does in Baltimore is take a little bit of defense off of the fucking line and makes the running game more proficient. It's not like Lamar has never really carried a solid wide receiver.
Well, from a fantasy perspective, you're absolutely correct. But for going to get that ring, Baltimore would be the place I'd go.
Yeah. I showed his the Edgar Allan Poe tweet to a Ravens fan who's like, what is it? I don't get it. I was like, that's Edgar Allan Poe. He's like, what? Yeah, so what? And I was like, what's his fucking most famous poem? Oh, shit.
Idiot.
Yeah.
Idiot. So, Dave, congratulations. Moving up to 4-1, 142.26, knocking off the 1-4 make Bears great again, 101.16. Similar story to John's game where the other team just didn't show up. You put up over 140 points. Take us through it. What was working for you besides Jeff's poor effort?
Ayuk had his breakout game finally. Finally he had his first game of the season. Just 23.7 points. And Tolbert had that touchdown versus the end of Monday Night Football to put a seal on things, for me for the win.
Sure.
I mean, I was already decided at that point. But damn, man, Tolbert was a nice surprise. I was feeling him though. I was feeling like, well, this guy's he's gonna pop off and do something. I mean, even if it's just 4 catches for 60 yards, that's good enough for me. I was thinking 8 points, but I had production from Connor. Bijan Robinson had 2 touchdowns on only like 5 touches. So just getting normal production from my running backs helps a lot.
Yeah,
I was without my first 3 draft picks this week.
Yeah,
I was without my first 3 draft picks.
All on buys.
Taylor, Laporta.
Taylor was out. Yep. AJ Brown on a bye. Laporta was on a bye. Okay. Well, I got to say, Dave, you've been very fortunate in the schedule gods this year as well. And also you're fortunate that 1 week RJ didn't start Juwan Jennings.
Lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, playing Jeff's team this week was a huge bonus. His team's in the struggle bus. Obviously, Tyreek being hampered by the quarterback situation. Debo put up one of his worst games of his career. No idea what's going on there. Olave was only 2 catches on 4 targets for 10 yards, and now Olave is without his quarterback. Jeff's team is just in a downward spiral in some seasons. I know the Tyron Tracy start was a great start. He and I were texting on that first drive because it looked like Eric Gray was getting all the touches, and I said, hey, it's early. And then sure enough, Gray fumbles what, in my opinion, looked like he did cross the goal line or at least touch the plane. Nonetheless, fumble gets returned all 100-plus yards for the score for Seattle, and then Tracy just took the bulk of the work after the 18 carries, 129 yards. Looked great doing it too. That was probably the highlight here on Jeff's team. It's just – I was like this last year where everything I touched turned to shit. So I can feel your pain, Jeff. Just one of those years. You're 1-4. Fortunately, you're in my division. So I'll take it. Like I said, everybody in my league or everybody in my division lost this week, including myself. So I will take it. Here. Raw dogging it. This is the closest match of the week. Raw dogging it 127.86, moves up to 3-2. RJ falls to 124.44, falls to 2-3 on the season. This one, you could say it was another lineup decision by RJ that lost him the week, because if you scroll down here, on his bench was Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney finished 16 targets, 9 catches, 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns, 32 fantasy points. Instead, he started Keenan Allen, 4.8 points. He did start Juwan Jennings. So, Juwan Jennings has hurt him twice this year. 1 week he didn't start him. 1 week he did start him. But that San Francisco game was just weird. They were in control of that game, even though they didn't put up a lot other than Ayuk, and still found a way to lose that game, which I don't know what's going on. I think that's a surprising start too, being 2-3 this year, San Francisco. And then Debo did nothing. Ayuk had a great game. Mason was just okay. It was just a weird game. RJ had all the Chiefs going. He had Pat Mahomes. He had P. Ryan. He had Kelsey. He also had Butker. So he was down, but he had a chance to come back and finishes just 3.5 points shy of the win. Ryan gets a huge win. This is a huge win for him. He's 3-2 now. And the reason why this is huge is because right before the week, he traded Garrett Wilson for Devonta Smith straight up with Hurts, Montgomery, now Smith, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and a kicker, all on bye on his bench. And he still gets the win. He told me, he's like, yeah, that was a good deal for my team because I don't care if I win this week. I don't mind if I fall to 3-2. Not to say he was giving it away, but he would have been okay if he lost. Instead, he moves up to 3-2. And that's a huge, huge win because now he gets all those guys back into his starting lineup for the remainder of the season. Now, the highest point total in a single match, probably not in the season. But Carl was a tough luck loser that week that Ryan had the high points. He bounces back now, puts up 203.88 to Phil's 165.32. Phil falls to 2-3. Carl's team looks to be on a roll. Let's just do the points real quick here. 47.78 for Burrow. Higgins, 24.8. And then Jamar, 41.3. That's 113.88 points. 113.88 out of 3 players is double stack in that crazy Bengals-Ravens game. Congratulations, Carl. Monster week. Kittle got in the end zone. He had a good game for a tight end and, for Seattle. Fairbairn, he had a monster day, 17.6. Otherwise, like I said, you look at Carl's roster. He had Jamar Gibbs on a bye. Cooper Kupp is still out with a high ankle sprain and puts up 203. Is Carl's team a legit favorite or a legit contender this year, let me say?
Yeah, with Burrow, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I think that without question,
he's got
Carl's
a perfect
team.
stack. He really is. With that defense is horrible in Cincinnati, they're going to have to score points.
In the last couple seasons, they've looked so bad the first couple games, and then things start to click in Cincinnati, and they just take off. So Carl did a good job. Higgins was out early this season with the hamstring injury. Burrow didn't look like his normal self, and now they're clicking. And again, they meet my Giants in New York Sunday night. That game has a little bit of a shootout idea here. Now, the Giants play a lot of ball control. They're going to have to keep Burrow off the field. But the Giants' defenses look good. Not great. They look good. We'll see.
How do you feel about your offensive line?
I think the offensive line
Giants
is doing
offensive line.
They're doing exactly what they need to do, man. They've looked good against quality defenses so far. And we've got a couple good matchups where I feel like we're going to be able to move the ball against the opposing team. So, yeah, you guys, how you feeling? 4-1 E4K, 4-1 business ethics. You guys feel good? You feel confident? Overly confident? Going into week?
No, I'm not confident at all. Again, I've luck boxed into my fucking schedule, dude. I feel like my average point output's about 145. I'd really feel a lot more comfortable if that was above 150. So I've got work to do. I've got to start figuring out the best way to grind those extra couple points a week.
Dave?
I feel good.
What are you trying to do with your team, Dave?
Battle through some injuries. I feel good. Well, getting back to your question, just feel good about where I stand after I battle through injuries to Taylor, AJ Brown, Sam Laporta, Jordan Love. I'm fortunate. I've been thinking about a few possibilities, but still kind of figuring out who's going to want to play for my team. But definitely keeping things flexible. We'll see how it plays out.
I could take an AJ Brown. If you're looking for a running back, let me know. We could work. I'm looking for that wide receiver upgrade.
Okay.
I've got receivers I can kick you back too. Not slubs, guys that will start for you. Not a Malik Neighbors, but a Deontay Johnson.
Warren is not a schlub. Jesus fucking Christ.
He's not.
Who are your wide receivers, Biz?
I have Malik Neighbors. I have Deontay Johnson. I have Christian Kirk. I have Josh Downs. And I have Alan Lazard, which are guys that I think are all tradable, playable, especially as bye weeks come into play. My running backs, I have Mason, Kenneth Walker, and then I have Eckler and Rico Dowdle. All guys, again, that I think you can play confidently, throughout the bye weeks. So
I'll think about it.
That being said, let's move on. There was only one trade. The league kind of fell asleep here as regard to trades, and it was done right after the podcast. So October 4th, which was Friday, right before week 5, I traded Khalil Shakir, who had already been designated as out in the Texans defense, to Norm STD buckets for Christian Kirk and Alan Lazard. Now, I didn't start Alan Lazard. I considered it, but Lazard had a typical Lazard game. He's touchdown dependent. He got in the end zone. Christian Kirk had 4 catches for 88 yards. Shakir was out, and the Texans defense got beat up. So, at least short term, I feel like I got a good deal. This is a week-to-week league. Moving forward, though, we'll see how that Shakir Kirk works. But Jacksonville's offenses look better over the last couple of weeks. Trevor Lawrence actually looks like a quarterback, whereas the first few weeks of this year, he just looked awful. A lot to do with Brian Thomas Jr. and hopefully getting Evan Ingram back. We'll see what happens there. Now, that was the only trade that's been done leading up to week 5 and early into week 6. Let's start here with waiver wire pickups. We're just going to go. These are the waivers that came through this morning. I can't click.
I got you.
All right.
Just
Okay.
tell me who you want to talk about?
So Alec Pierce, he got picked up.
Yeah.
Stricky
For
Nicky
$1.
Throat Pie Guy for $1. Stricky Nicky Throat Pie Guy also picked up Ray McLeod for $6. I know I bid on Ray.
You bid $1 and Nick bid $0.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to sneak him on my squad. That being said, Kirk Cousins went to RJ because RJ has Pat Mahomes on a bye this week. So it was a smart move to pick up Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins for 52 fake dollars. Who else bid?
So we had RJ with the 52 fake fab bucks. We had E4K with 33 fake fab bucks. Chief Biz with 19 fake fab bucks. And Nick. I apologize. Right. That shit fucks me up still. Nick with 16. So there were a lot of interested parties in Kirk.
Another one, RJ picked up the Atlanta Falcons going in all in Atlanta this week.
Oh, yeah.
Picked them up for 70 fake bucks.
Yep.
Who else bid?
He outbid down the middle Denver Diamond Dave, who bid 34. Spidey
34.
Nick Dick with 8. And Chief Biz with 2.
Yep. Right on. So RJ between Falcons D and Kirk Cousins spent 122
fake fab bucks. Yeah, he did.
Fab bucks. Next is Gesicki for 0 to RJ again. He's got Kelsey on a bye. He dropped P. Ryan. I had to drop Rashee Rice. I picked up Polk. Demario Douglas. He goes to Dave for 13 fake bucks. There were 2 bids on that. I bid $3, so I lost out there. Good pickup, Dave. And then Rich picked up Diami Brown and dropped Agun Bawale. There we go. For 0. Stacks on Stacks picked up the Tampa Bay D. Tampa Bay D went for 7. There was no other bids.
No bids on it. There was only single bids on anybody else.
McNichols, $9. No other bids. Rod Dogging It picked up McLaughlin for 14. Where was that?
Well,
that was last week. Okay.
Yeah.
That was last week. And then just other moves. Nikki picked up Hutchinson, which looks like to be a good move now that
Nico.
Yeah, Nico Collins is on the IR. Make Bears Great Again picked up Chicago Bears kicker. That makes sense. I picked up Daniel Jones, dropped tight end. I also picked up the Giants kicker, Greg Joseph, and dropped Groupie. And then Dave picked up the Cardinals D and dropped the Miami Dolphins D. So those are the transactions. A lot going on the waiver wire this week.
It's that time of year right now that everybody always tightens the butthole. It's tough to get deals done because, every little move between buys and shit, people just don't seem to want to move. We've had the same kind of stall almost every year this time, the last few years anyway.
Well, the last week leading up to Friday, it was pretty busy.
Yeah.
A lot of moves going on.
Yep.
And then, like you said, things kind of stalled out. Now you got bye weeks, people valuing guys that are coming off a bye or have already had their bye much more because you don't have to worry about the bye week. I have a couple deals that are out there right now. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm trying to move one of my running backs and get a wide receiver. Dave, I might have to throw in an offer to you as soon as we hang up here. So
just work a deal right now.
Well,
go ahead, John. You do it.
You
and Biz.
Wait, well, no, Dave.
Go ahead, John.
John and I have been working on deals.
Well,
we were fucking close.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to move AJ Brown right now. I've only played AJ Brown once this season, so I'll probably hold on to AJ Brown, especially with Taylor out.
What about Ayuk?
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about a few possibilities, but I'm still figuring out who I'd want to target.
Bro, Dave ain't dealing. Dave ain't dealing, bro. Come on.
I'm keeping things flexible though, and seeing how things work. Seeing how things.
This is a prototypical Dave season where he gets off to a good start.
I'm winning.
Fortunate balls bounce his way. He's been winning, even with a couple guys injured, and then his team's going to stall out, and he's going to trade you a guy that's going to propel your team into the playoff push. That's kind of like what's going to happen.
Stop that.
I'm just saying. What happened?
I have a ban on working with Dave and Phil right now.
Okay.
I'm not working with Dave or Phil on trades.
So after 5 weeks, the standings are in the red flags division. I'm on top at 3-2. Both Phil and Norm are 2-3, and Jeff is 1-4. Mediocreville. This was the division going in that all teams in this division were 2-2 going into week 5. Carl, Ryan, and Rick each won, improving the 3-2, and Rich fell to 2-3. Skid Marks division. There's definitely some separation here where Dave and John, you guys are pulling away. Got a 2-game lead at 4-1. RJ has lost 3 in a row. He's now 2-3, and he's got all of his Chiefs on a bye week. Nicky won his first game of the year, had a big week, 1-4. So that division's a little interesting. All the divisions are interesting, to be quite honest with you. Moving on to week 6, Cousins battle. And this is, I think, must win for both teams. My team is 3-2, except I'm 1-2 in the last 3 weeks. Rich has lost 3 in a row. And he's getting Saquon back, but he's got Jetta on a bye. Right now, I've got Richardson starting at Tennessee. We'll see. We talked about the Daniel Jones opportunity as a stream option Sunday night against Cincinnati. He's got Jaden Daniels at Baltimore. That's going to be a tough matchup for Washington, but we shall see. Saquon Barkley. Either way, Jaden Daniels gets the edge. I'm just going to say that. Saquon Barkley, possibly Joe Mixon. They said he's still kind of 50-50 playing at New England. And then I've got the 2 running backs going against each other tomorrow night, Mason and Walker. Next, wide receivers. I'm praying that Neighbors is back this week. That'll be a huge bump. Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson. He's got McConkey. Right now, McConkey, Brown, and Myers. I would give myself the edge in wide receivers. Definitely if Neighbors plays. Tight ends, again, I'm hoping that Ingram can play. In London, he has Zach Ertz. And then he's got James Cook right now in his flex along with Freiermuth. That could change. I'm going to roll with Eckler and Dowdle as it stands right now. I'd say that's pretty close only because Freiermuth, who knows, is a tight end. I've got Chicago D, playing in that London game against Jacksonville, and he's got Cincinnati D right now at the Giants. Ooh, I almost think I need to start Daniel Jones to spite him starting the Cincinnati defense. Looking at this, he's got Jefferson on a bye. He's got Waddle on a bye.
Bold strategy, Cotton.
Yeah, right. Like I said, I have two receivers here where I could start Lazard on a Monday night, hoping for a touchdown against Buffalo. And then if Flacco starts at Tennessee, Downs may be a good start. We'll see. We'll see. But who would you guys give an edge to real quick, Dave?
I don't think Richardson's going to play. I think if you change your quarterback, I think this is a winnable game for you, Biz.
Right on. John?
Yeah, I mean, he's fighting the bye bug, man. He's out having to play two tight ends, Freiermuth and Ertz. Ertz has been kind of skating down lately. I give you the edge.
I feel good about this week. We'll see. This is a week that I need to win. This is a must win. I'm going to coach up my guys. Like I said, hopefully get Malik Neighbors back primetime Sunday night. Raw dogging it, 3-2. Jeff is on the struggle bus, 1-4. I would say this is a must win for Jeff. You can't go 1-5. It's hard to be 1-4, especially given the current state of his roster. But you got to be 2-4. I think this is a must win. Raw dogging it. We talked about Ryan. He's getting some guys back off the bye. You got Hurts playing against Cleveland versus Purdy Thursday night. Running backs here, I think you give a definite edge to King Henry and Montgomery. King Henry's playing against Washington. Washington's been susceptible against the run. Pollard's playing Indy, though. That's a good matchup. And then you got Swift against Jacksonville, another good matchup. So we'll see. But on paper, you'd probably give the edge to Ryan. Sun God, Pittman, Devonta Smith coming off a bye. You'd expect him to be back because he sat out week 4 with the concussion. Week 5, they had a bye. Against Dobbs, is Dobbs even on the team anymore? What's going on there in Green Bay? Debo and Olave.
That dude was a bum.
Yeah. Even with Debo and Olave, you probably have to give the edge to Ryan here, wide receiver.
There's something today about Dobbs.
Yeah, that's true. It's Wednesday.
Oh, they reinstated him on Monday.
Yeah.
He's going to be back in the lineup. I don't know if he's going to get the same workload he was even getting before, but.
Yeah, looking at this, got the Denver D against the Chargers, Pittsburgh D at Vegas. That's a great matchup. Overall, Jeff's fighting an uphill battle. That Thursday night's going to be huge because he's got Brock Purdy and he's got Debo in that game. But I think I would give a slight edge, not a big edge, but a slight edge to Raw Dogging it. You guys agree, disagree?
I think it's a little more than a slight edge.
Fair.
Yeah, I give an edge to Ryan.
It's been a rough year for Jeff. He's got Tyreek Hill on a bye week too.
Yeah.
Car injury.
And Aaron Jones out/bye. Juju on a bye.
Yeah.
His lineup could have looked a little better.
All right, John, take us through your matchup. You're 4-1. You're playing STD buckets. Take us through.
I'm catching Norm again on a bye week thing, right? Let's see. My bad. I was on the wrong. Yeah, I'm catching Norm Achan. Not huge bye week. But definitely Nico out now hurts things. Oh, Nico's. And I have no bye issues at all. The Vikings are on a bye, and I'm playing the Chargers against Denver. I hate feeling overconfident going in, but I feel pretty good this week.
You move CD down to the flex just to spark a little something?
No, I move CD down to flex because of the time that he plays.
Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough.
I'm one of the weird ones that does keep the flex open just in case some crazy shit happens.
Yeah. I'd be surprised if Bigsby has another big game. Chicago's defense has been really good this year. Bigsby broke a couple big runs against, again, Indianapolis's defense. You can run through it. I definitely, looking at the matchups, I would give you a solid edge here, specifically because Nico is out.
Yeah.
I'd give you a solid edge. And then you got the Chargers defense. I think Denver has a chance to come back down to earth this week. Their offense doesn't really move the ball much, but he's starting Houston's defense against New England. We'll see how that goes with Drake May starting this week. He's got Achane also out, but on a bye. Nico now on the IR. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough week for Norm. Norm is 2-3. In a way, it's a must-win, but I'm rooting for you, John, because STD Buckets is in my division. So let's go. This one here, this is an interesting matchup. Both teams are 2-3. Started the season hot and now have fallen back a little bit. We mentioned RJ went all in on the Falcons pickups with Cousins and the Falcons defense because all of his Chiefs are out on bye this week. Phil's got Lamar playing Washington. That could be a high-scoring game. We'll see. Bijan, we talked about him. Off to a very mediocre start, but he gets Carolina. They're on the road, but Carolina's defense stinks. So this could be a big week for Bijan. You got Javonte Williams playing against the Chargers. That's a throw up in your mouth type of start. You don't feel good about that one. Oh,
What,
man.
playing Javonte?
Yeah,
Javonte's had a couple pretty good games.
bro.
Last couple games have been pretty good.
13.6. He had 9. He had 4. He had 9. He had 2.8.
Well, even
running
beyond
back
the box
32.
score, he's solidified he has solidified himself as the RB1 in Denver.
That's fine. No one cares. Sorry, no one cares.
But he's looked good too.
I like
looked good
Javonte
the last couple
Williams.
games.
I've had him in seasons past. I do like him. I just think that Denver's in for a tough matchup against the Chargers defense coming off a bye. I don't know. And then Singletary, if he plays, we had already mentioned Cincinnati's defense has not been good this year. Kamara's playing home against Tampa. They might have to just lean on Kamara this week, given the quarterback change. Wide receivers, you got Evans. Mooney gets the start. Amari Cooper against Diggs. Why is Devontae Adams in his lineup? I don't know. He's not playing. No, he's just a screwball. Clear edge here to RJ and wide receivers. It's not even close. Pitts versus Gesicki. Who knows? Pitts is just so up and down. Gesicki as well. RJ still has DJ Moore and Calvin Ridley in the flex. I give a strong edge there to RJ. Neither of these guys have kickers. Atlanta's playing at Carolina. Great matchup. And then Philly's playing against Cleveland. Also great matchup. I'm just looking at who else they have on the bench here. I think Phil's going to fall. And again, Phil's in my division, so I'm rooting hard for RJ. I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I give edge to RJ in this one.
I do too.
Yeah.
I don't know about Singletary, but
Well, he may not play yet, but even
Yeah.
if he doesn't, I just think the Saints are going to lean so heavily on Kamara this week and maybe even next week that this is a big one. So this is another interesting matchup. Stacks on Stacks has been on the rise because of that Cincinnati stack that he has. For some reason, it clicked on that. Business Ethics, Dave, 4-1 coming into this one. You said you're feeling good about your team, but you can't feel good about this matchup. Take us through it real quick.
Let's see.
You got to wait till Sunday night.
Um,
All eyes
yeah.
are going to be on that Bengals-Giants game.
yeah, this is Phil's got a.
This is
See,
Carl. This is
it's-
Carl.
Oh, Carl, my bad. Yeah, I mean, the Bengals versus the Giants. I mean, I just hope the Giants have a little a little bit in them to kind of just say, hey, you know what? This is the Bengals. This is a hell of a team we're playing. that's like a measuring stick, maybe with a little added motivation to win this game and play a little extra D, that's going to help me with that triple stack. I'll get I'll get
Game's your honorary 14th fan this week.
I'll get Laporta this week back.
I can give you some Giants gear to wear. No problem. No problem. I got you.
Yeah, this is gonna be a tough matchup, but damn, I get AJ Brown back this week. I get Love and Reed with the nice matchup versus Arizona.
I think you should come over and watch that game. I think you should come over and watch that game with me and my dad. That might actually help you this week. It could.
Yeah.
It could. You never know.
It could go either way. Last week I was probably supposed to lose to Jeff, but
the one thing in your favor is I don't foresee Burrow throwing 5 touchdowns this week. It could happen. It could. Who knows? But because he did against Baltimore, but they were at home. I don't see 5 touchdowns. I see Burrow having a good game though. I'm a Giants fan. Let's be realistic. He's going to do his thing. Let's just hope Gesicki gets all the touchdowns.
Hopefully JT
or Yoshi Voss
is healthy. Hopefully JT is healthy this week for me. If not, then I'm going to have to find a sub for JT this week to start.
And you don't know what AJ Brown's going to give you coming back off that hamstring in the bye week. You're hoping that he's healthy. He should be, but
Brian Robinson is nursing a knee injury from a couple weeks ago.
You got to feel good about that Packers Arizona, because Arizona's going to Green Bay. Arizona's defense definitely is giving up yards. They're giving up points. That could be a little bit of a shootout type of game.
Oh yeah.
And then you're starting Indy's defense because we don't know who Tennessee's quarterback's going to be this week. I don't know. This is a tough matchup for you, but looking at it, I definitely give Carl. I don't want to say definitely. I give Carl a slight edge in this game.
Sure.
He's got Gibbs playing Sunday afternoon at Dallas. But you've got Love against Arizona. You're going to need a big game early from Love. That'll make you feel a little more comfortable going into that Sunday night game. All eyes are on that Sunday night game. Anytime you play Carl, whoever Cincinnati is playing that week, that's who you're rooting for. Really. But they've been on a roll, and, I think they're going to put up points against the Giants, man. I'm sorry to say. John, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't really see this being as close as you were trying to make it out to be. It seems like a heavy-sided with Carl. Just facing that trio, man, is daunting.
I have a feeling that Dave's luck is going to run out here. I'm trying to be nice.
Nothing's easy, man. Nothing's easy.
Because the Bengals are playing the Giants. Of course, we're rooting for the Giants to win. But I just see them putting up points, the Bengals, that is. So good luck, Dave. You're going to need it.
Thank you.
Well, we haven't picked a game of the week, but because this is the last one, we're just going to make this the game of the week. White Boy Rick playing against Nikki. Formerly, what was his team name before? Miss
Slim Shady.
Miss Slim Shady. Got it. White Boy Rick comes in 3-2. Nikki's feeling high on life right now, winning the first game, but not only just pummeling my team. My team put up 145, 146 points, and he still beat me by 45 points. 190 plus points. This week he's going to roll out Kyler at Green Bay, which we just talked about. Could be a little bit of a shootout. We'll see. Josh Allen playing Monday night at the Jets. Not a great matchup for Josh Allen. Hoping Shakir's back in there because the Buffalo offense has looked atrocious the last couple weeks. Breece Hall. That's another head scratcher. Josh Allen and Breece Hall have just not performed for fantasy teams the last couple weeks. And
has Breece Hall performed at all this year? Has he had a big game?
The first couple games I thought were All
Yeah,
right.
he had the first three games, 15.8, 20.9, 16.3, and then the last 2 weeks, 2.8, 5.2. But here's really the concern: 9 carries, 10 carries, 5 targets, 4 targets. It's just
Especially in that Denver game, why didn't he get more work? Like that was a close game the whole time.
yeah,
Braylon
Right.
Allen looked better.
yeah, he did. But we'll see.
Braylon Allen has looked better than Brees Hall.
I don't know the specific stats on when a team makes a coaching change,
Sometimes.
but I know the team that makes the coaching change generally wins
Yeah.
their next game.
Yeah,
So you would think the Jets would win the game against Buffalo, but crazier things have happened. It is a home game for the Jets, but we shall see. Chase Brown, Brees Hall against Rashad White, the Tampa Bay running backs, I guess. Nicky's got a couple people on bye this week. He's got Sam Darnold and Kareem Hunt on bye. Xavier Worthy is notable being on bye for Ricky, so he won't be in the lineup. Ricky's going to roll out Quentin Johnston coming off of a bye. Wide receivers, Garrett Wilson, George Pickens, Quentin Johnston, Brian Thomas Jr., Drake London, Marvin Harrison. I think Nick's got a clear advantage at wide receiver. Tight ends, I think Brock Bowers against Kraft. Kraft has been good the last couple of weeks. You look here, he didn't really do much first 3 weeks, but then 14.3 and 22.8. He scored in each of the last 2 games. That's always huge. But 9 targets and 5 targets. He's been solid. Brock Bowers, we talked about him potentially being the tight end 1 on the year. So far, he is. Jerome Ford, Travis Etienne. Etienne's questionable. He's been in and out of the lineup with a shoulder. He's been fighting through it. Najee Harris and Sermon. Sermon obviously has no value if Jonathan Taylor plays. I don't want to say no value, but he'll be more of a split backfield. Plus, they're playing a tough Tennessee run defense. Tennessee's got a decent defense. That's a tough call here between these 4. You'd like to give the edge to Ford and Etienne, but I don't know. We'll see. And then the defenses. Ricky's going with Buffalo on Monday night. Monday night game's huge for Rick. And then Nicky's going to start San Francisco at Seattle tomorrow night. Looking at this is close. This is close. This all depends, obviously, on how that Monday night game goes for Ricky with Brees Hall, Josh Allen, and the Bills' defense. But I would say this is a pick 'em. What do you guys think?
White boy Rick. I'm feeling a Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson good game.
John?
That's why.
I don't know. Are we finally going to see that magical Kyler Murray back? He had 1 game, and that was week 2. That was the same week as
Yeah, he played the Rams.
too with his big week, right?
Yeah, Harrison had 2 touchdowns in the first half.
I mean, if they can recreate that magic, Nicky might be looking at 2-0. If they play the way they've been playing the other 4 weeks, I think it's going to be 1-5.
Well, he had 25 last week at San Francisco. He had that long touchdown run. He had another passing touchdown and an interception, but only 195 yards. He hasn't thrown for a lot of yards.
I think they both need to have like fantastic games for Nicky to win.
Yeah.
Like you need Kyler for 25 plus points, and you need Marvin Harrison for 20.
Yeah. I agree. I think that game needs to be a shootout in Green Bay. I know Dave would love that. Having Love and Jaden Reed.
I would love that.
Yeah. So there's some interesting matchups across the league this week for sure. Where you got some teams that are struggling and need a win, and you have some teams that like you two fucks. You guys are cruising along, and Dave, all it takes is one buzzsaw that you run into, and then you get run right off the rails, and you start going, "Hey, Biz, I need to trade AJ Brown," type shit.
Dave ain't trading AJ Brown.
He ain't doing deals.
He ain't
No,
trading
I'm not.
Maybe.
Maybe it's John. Maybe it's John's turn to make a trade on right now with Biz. I think it is.
No, we were super close. The difference in our trade came down to the difference in value between DK Metcalf and Terry McLaurin. That is what split us apart. And Dave, just as a third party opinion, how great is the difference between Terry McLaurin and DK Metcalf?
My God, that's pretty close. That's pretty even.
Is it though, Dave?
But no, it's DK. It's DK, but
Slightly.
it's DK, no doubt. No doubt DK.
Slightly.
A little more than slightly, maybe.
I wouldn't say slightly.
I would say a little more than slightly.
Slightly.
But
Hold on. While we're on that topic, let's just pull some information up to talk about what does slightly mean. Terry McLaurin. Okay. The last 3 weeks, he's been great. 2 of those weeks he got in the end zone. Last week, over 100 yards.
Word.
He is currently ranked number 25 wide receiver on the season because of 2 duds to start the season. Fair. And
100% from a rookie quarterback who they didn't want throwing the ball downfield at all.
they've picked it up. So week 2, 8 targets, 3, 6 targets, then 10 targets and 8 targets. So the targets are going up for sure. DK Metcalf, he had a bad week this week. He is wide receiver 12 right now.
He's had 2 bad weeks.
2 bad weeks.
Just like McLaurin.
Yep.
And
3.
he had they're not that far apart. Get the freak out of here.
There's a difference.
Not
In my
much.
opinion. In my opinion, there's a difference.
it's more than slightly.
Like,
It's
I
more
think
than slightly.
DK is like wide receiver 12, 14 rest of season.
I think
And I think
not-
that Terry McLaurin's probably 18, 19 rest of season.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I did throw you a deal this morning. I don't know if you had a chance to look.
Maybe.
No, I mean, I got back. I had to do some arts and
18's
crafts
high.
to be ready for the pod.
Well, take a look at
My
that deal.
official eyebrows for Kamala hat will be here next week.
McLaurin is in the offer that I made you this morning. So take a look.
I'm sure it is, and I'm sure I'm going to hate it.
It's not a bad deal. It's not a bad deal.
Yeah, you didn't say it was a good deal.
I didn't say it was a great deal. I think both teams will feel the burn a little bit in this offer. Let me tell you that. And that's usually when it is a good deal. Because both teams are going to feel a little burn. But anyways, gentlemen, I got to run. I have there's a dog groomer that asked for a consultation before she will accept my dogs as clients. So we have to go do a little doggy consultation at the dog groomer this morning. And before I do that, I'm going to go get them. I'm going to go run them around a little bit. So
Cool.
Otherwise, good luck this week. Like I said, my dad's in town. We're going to be watching games. I'm going to smoke some wings on Sunday. If you guys are interested in joining, let me know. If nothing else, you guys are welcome to come over for the Sunday night game. Dave, my door is open. If you want to come live through that painful experience
Stop by.
Sunday night.
Stop by Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, all right. Well, I'll
Probably
be
after the Broncos game. After the Broncos game, I'll head down. I'll head over.
You rejected do it. You rejected the trade, John?
Uh-oh.
Not even a counter? That's where we're going to end this podcast.
You're
All
not
right.
this on there.
We're signing off, everybody.
Have a nice
Have a good
day.
week 6.
Good luck this week.